Silent Hill is all the rage right now. In the world of games, there's Silent Hill F, and the movies are returning to Silent Hill with Return to Silent Hill, set for release 20 years after the original. It even features the return of Christoph Gans, who directed the 2006 movie. That's the movie we're talking about this evening. For me, it's unfinished business. Back in high school, a friend of mine lent me the DVD and begged me to watch it. It's the best movie ever. Well, after 20 years of nagging, I'm giving in. I'll watch the damn movie, and then I'll think about giving you back your DVD. And I'll finally decide if you're right about how great the movie is, or if you're just a shill, a silent shill. The movie is based on the 1999 PlayStation game of the same name, and from the beginning, it was well suited for a film adaptation, because the designers of the game cited plenty of literary and film influence. Back in '99, official US PlayStation Magazine interviewed the core team at Tokyo Game Show. They mentioned taking influence from Stephen King for the modern horror atmosphere. Keiichiro Toyama added, in order to give the game a feeling of a real world, but an unbalanced world, we took influences from David Lynch, Cronenberg, that cinematic style. King? Lynch? Cronenberg? They even cited one of my favorite horror movies ever as an influence, Jacob's Ladder. Why have I not played this game or seen this movie? From what I understand, the movie changes a decent amount of the actual characters and plot, but does capture the game's tone and atmosphere, and those were some of the most essential elements for the game. Anyway, this is a movie channel, not a game channel, so put your controllers down and let's watch 2006's Silent Hill. Rose and Christopher De Silva have a problem. Their daughter Sharon sleepwalks, sometimes to dangerous places, and yells, "Silent Hill! Just buy her the damn game already!" No, Rose has a better idea. Sneak out of the house, toss the girl in the back of her Jeep, and drive to a town where if the ghosts don't kill you, the toxic gas from the still-burning coal deposits will. She's a good mom. When a cop flashes her lights, Rose does the only natural thing and floors it, crashing through a fence and driving off the road when a mysterious girl steps in the path of her vehicle. Why did the cop chase her? She was suspicious because Sharon seemed upset at the gas station. She is being kidnapped after all. But instead of the cop just questioning her there, instead, for some reason, the cop writes down her license plate number, then 2 minutes later turns on her siren and chases her down the road. If she was going to chase her anyway, what was the point in writing down her license plate? That was just wasting time and letting her get away. And that's not a great start. This reminds me of The Exorcist, because that movie also leads to a mother putting her daughter through something dangerous, an exorcism, but it's not something that happens immediately. Mom, I feel a little sick. Exorcism? Huh? Exorcism, we're going to do an exorcism on you. Now go tie yourself to the bed. In that movie, it takes over an hour of runtime, tests from every kind of doctor they can find, and a suspicious death before Chris is willing to consider exorcism. Now, that's one of the greatest movies of all time, so of course it's not the benchmark I hold other movies against. But The Exorcist showed me what the ceiling looks like on the mother taking desperate action scale. Thanks to Silent Hill, now I know what the floor looks like. After crashing, Rose wakes up to an empty Jeep. Sharon is gone. And it's snowing? No, it's ash. That, combined with the endless fog, makes for quite the haunting atmosphere. With her daughter missing, and she herself suddenly in what feels like another dimension, she's moderately upset.
Somebody! Help! We've had an accident!
She's almost as upset as I was the other day when my SD card filled up during recording and I had to start over. But it's all relative. She lost her daughter, and my videos are precious to me. Each one is like my own child, including this one. Gee, I sure hope that SD card doesn't fill up. The fog in Silent Hill is something lifted from the games, where it was partly included due to the PS1's limited draw distance, but it also worked in the game's favor. It added to the haunting atmosphere and obscured your surroundings, furthering the sense that a monster could pop out at any time. The game also featured snow, which in the movie is turned into ash. Both add to a genuinely surreal, isolating, and haunting atmosphere. It works especially as Rose runs throughout the town. We see just how wide and pervasive the fog really is. It isn't just relegated to a couple of shots or a set to imply it envelops the town. No, we see with our own eyes that it's everywhere, and that adds to the sense that Silent Hill's darkness is truly oppressive and inescapable. That's also helped by lifting music directly from the games. Rose makes her way through the fog until she spots a little girl running. Is it Sharon? She follows her to a stairwell and loses her in the dark. Dark that becomes even more dark when air raid sirens blare, the sky darkens, and her surroundings become more decrepit. I love the sirens. Up until now, my impression of Silent Hill was supernatural horror, and so far the town seems completely empty. So to pierce through that with a sound unmistakably produced by human technology is intriguing and unsettling. Rose hears a whisper, "Mommy," and follows it. She spots the girl again behind a fence, but she won't stop running. Rose can't keep up, and there's weird stuff around, like the remains of a guy in some kind of coal miner outfit. That guy is so dead. Oh my god! He's still alive. Ew. And behind her, a strange screeching thing, gray except for the glowing ember from within the childlike body. There are more just like it, staggering toward her with arms outstretched. The place is filled with them. They surround her until they crumble away like leaves in the wind. She passes out, then wakes up to light, and Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire playing on a jukebox, the kind you'd find at a bowling alley, which is where she's now found herself. You can definitely see the video game influence on this movie. Of course, the creature is mostly lifted from the games, with some modifications in their designs, but also in the camera movements, the way it often follows Rose, not by cutting, but by shifting angles or floating, as though it's anchored to the player's movements. Stuff like that definitely helps you to see the passion that went into this project. And it's true, Christoph Gans wasn't just a director they hired. He played the game and it captivated him. He wanted to make a movie. He spent 5 years pursuing the idea until finally getting the rights. The floating crane shots also work not just as a video game homage, but further build that sense of space and how small Rose feels within it. The gray child is scary, especially as it creeps up behind her with that strange gait, and jump scare-ish in the sense that you're distracted by the dead guy who isn't really dead, then you notice, holy crap, what is that behind her? Once the digital effects creep in over the practical, the glowing embers and copy and paste horde of children, that undercuts it for me, especially when I'm already thinking about video games. She runs back toward the edge of town and finds a literal edge, a cliff, like Silent Hill has been chipped off the earth and flung into a foggy void.
Only the Dark One opens and closes the door to Silent Hill.
Ah! This crazy lady rants about how they took her daughter away, Alessa, and when Rose shows a picture of her own daughter...
Yes, she's mine.
The lady gets aggressive and Rose runs. I hate this lady. She immediately gives the impression of trying too hard. This is not a person driven mad by isolation and Silent Hill. This is someone dressing up as a character for a haunted house. Someone purposefully obscuring the truth by talking in riddles, rather than someone with a broken mind, incapable of communicating those truths. When it comes to the performances in this movie, characters are either doing too much like her, or too little like Rose. Meanwhile, back in normal reality, Christopher looks for her. Really, nothing more needs to be said about these scenes. The movie cuts to him occasionally searching for her, finding clues, the cops get in the way, sometimes they help. But ultimately, to spoil how things go for Chris, he doesn't find her, then eventually gives up and goes home. The screenwriter Roger Avery told Edge Online, originally her husband is almost not even there. One of the studio notes, however, when we finally turned it in was, there's no men in this. So they requested that we make more out of the husband character, which is exactly what we did. Avery goes on to say he actually appreciated the note, and it enabled some good things for them, because later when Christopher and Rose end up in the same locations, We cut back and forth between them to show how Rose has been swallowed up into another dimension, so even when they're in the same physical location, they can't see or interact with each other. I do like that concept, but Christopher's story overall is too one-note, and watching him find clues just isn't compelling because we've already got Rose finding clues in a much more interesting place, Silent Hill. So the cutaways to the normal world are less interesting by comparison and mostly redundant. Avery also added that they named the husband character Christopher after the movie's director, Christoph. Quote, "I said, well, if there's just going to be one guy in it, let's have it be you." Rose gets back to her car that won't start and calls Chris, leaving a message to let him know where she is. And the cop is back to arrest Rose. Apparently she crashed her bike, was unconscious for a while, woke up in the Twilight Zone, and her first instinct was ignore the open wound on her forehead, walk aimlessly for a while, and arrest the first person she sees. Who is she? Chief Wiggum?
Enough of your borax, Poindexter. Man's life is at stake. We need action. Take that, you lousy dimension!
Rose tries to explain something weird is going on, but the cop is having none of it. We're walking back to the station.
Have you heard a single word I've said?
Yeah.
Have you heard a single word I've said?
That's also just not the demeanor of a person whose daughter is missing in a supernatural fog realm. Are you listening to me? My daughter is missing in a hell dimension. Okay, whatever, it's fine. And this cop, while they walk, she starts ranting. You people, you get off the highway from whatever big city, bringing all your sick problems with you. We had a guy come up here 2 years ago.
Snatched a little boy from a rest stop, dropped him into a mine vent. I never want to see anything like that again.
What the hell is she even talking about? Does she not know the reputation of Silent Hill? The least of that town's problems are the sick problems other people bring to it. And how bad is her ability to judge a person's character? Yeah, Rose, I could tell by one look at her. She is definitely the drop a girl in a mine vent type. And if that's what she thinks is happening right now, that Sharon is in mortal danger somewhere, she is remarkably calm. Maybe she should ask some questions like, Rose, what did you do with the girl? Where is she? Not, let's take a 2-hour stroll to the station and hope that girl in the mine shaft is okay when we get back. And the way she just keeps completely ignoring Rose, she feels like an NPC whose dialogue tree got all screwed up and scrambled, so she's just spouting nonsense. Once the bleeding fool reaches the edge of the universe, she finally gets the idea, you know, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think something weird is going on here. Then a monster, a definitely not human monster, starts scrambling toward her. A creature with no arms or face, dripping acid.
Stay where you are!
Stay where you are? The thing doesn't even have ears! Once it sprays acid on her, finally she gets the idea to shoot it, and Rose uses the opportunity to run. She's still handcuffed, but at least manages to put her hands in front of her. Where to now? The school, because she found a drawing at her car of the school, seemingly left by her daughter. And that's this movie. Rose bumbling around, seeing a scary thing, then finding a thing, telling her where to go to find the next thing. You see, investigations, searching for clues, aren't inherently compelling to watch, especially when the clues are just pieces of paper or objects that tell you where to find the next clue. She heads to the school while a cop drives Christopher around and chastises him.
90% of the time, Chris, when a wife takes a run, she takes daughter to a place like this. I'd say she's damn mad at her husband.
No, I was with you until the last part. Takes her daughter to a place like this. No one takes their daughter to a place like this. At least not often enough to quote a statistic about it. If I had a nickel for every time a mother kidnaps her own daughter and runs away to a haunted fog town, boy, let me tell ya, they really need to adjust the dialogue trees for these cop characters. Though he does drop a little bit of lore. There was a coal fire in '74 that killed everyone, and that was the end of Silent Hill. At the school, more running around, more yelling for Sharon. She hides when she spots people in coal miner outfits. Then, clues, a school desk with the word witch written on it, a journal for a girl named Alessa Gillespie, and the girl runs by again, and she chases her again, but she can't catch up, and this is getting repetitive. Chasing the girl leads to the bathroom, which leads to Colin, maybe the most gruesome and bizarre creature in the movie, all twisted and tangled up in barbed wire, written on the wall, dare you, double dare you, I think you mean triple dare, that was 3 by my count. Do they not teach ghosts math anymore? And actually, I see at least 2 more dare yous, making this possibly the world's first quintuple dare. And there's an arrow pointing at the janitor's mouth. What exactly are they daring you to do to his mouth? Ew. Oh, Rose reaches into the mouth and another clue. Like the other clues, this one tells her where to find the next clue. At a hotel, because this is a piece of a room key from that hotel. Obviously, someone is leaving these clues intentionally, like a bizarre scavenger hunt. They want to tell Rose this story. In that case, what's with the attitude? I dare you. Go ahead. Try and get this clue. You know what? I'm good. You can keep it. No, I'm sorry. I'll give you the clue. I don't want it anymore. No, I'll tell you. You have to go to the hotel. You have to go to the... I'm not listening. When darkness falls again, the room crumbles into its decrepit form, and Colin comes to life, crawling with his spine twisted and his legs bound behind his head, barbed wire obscuring and digging into his eyes. I'm realizing I don't mind the CGI as much when it applies to the environment. Like my brain doesn't know what a room crumbling and turning into another room would actually look like, so I'm more accepting of it than with living creatures where I've got some idea. And that's why this Colin character, the janitor, is so effective. And this may be the most nightmarish image I've ever seen. She runs and finds CGI cockroaches, Alessa scribbling on some papers, while Rose bumbles around Dark World, Chris bumbles around Normal World, and it is a cool visual, cutting between both realities in the same location, and it furthers the sense of isolation, that there's just no way for Chris to reach her, though he can sense her presence and even smell her perfume. Soon, Rose bumps into him, Pyramid Head. His official name in the movie is Red Pyramid, and in the game, Red Pyramid Thing. The movie buffs him up from the game into a big muscular guy, but they both share that pyramid head. He also has an absurdly large sword, and a bunch of oversized CGI cockroaches. She runs, Mr. Head continues his pursuit, and she's just about ready to give up until she's saved by Cop Lady, who is starting to think, there is something weird going on here, right? She finally undoes Rose's cuffs. They dodge Sir Pyramid's giant sword until the darkness fades and the world crumbles back to normal-ish. Okay, there is definitely something off about this place, I think. They head to the hotel where they find the crazy lady from before, and another crazy lady is throwing stones at her. The one throwing stones is Anna, and the one from before is Dahlia. She was cast out. Then they find another clue, a child's drawing in the slot for room 111. So it's off to room 111. They find the room hidden behind a painting of a witch burning. That's the sort of thing they used to do in this town, burn witches. That leads to a room, which leads to a secret passage to another building. I should mention that Rose picked up a knife earlier. She used it to cut open the painting, and I'm sure it'll come in handy, and she dropped it when she jumped into the other building. Nice, that's good. In the new building, oh my god, a little girl! Rose chases her, never gets old. This time she catches up. The girl turns around. Look at me, I'm burning. That's not me saying that, by the way. That is a direct quote.
Look at me. I'm burning.
Yeah, I can see that. That's great. I'm very happy for you. Then she disappears in a pillar of flame. That was Alessa, Dahlia's daughter. She's the one who stepped in the path of the car, causing them to crash. And she looks suspiciously similar to Sharon, Rose's daughter. Oh no, the darkness is coming again. They have to get to the church for protection. No, Dahlia tells them. There are a bunch of jerks in that church. Don't go in there. So Rose and Cop stay outside.
Sybil! Rose, come on!
Apparently Sybil is her name. That's how little the budding friendship between Rose and Cop is developed. Whenever she gave her name, must have been off screen. Anna, who is terrified about being outside in the darkness, stops outside for some reason. Oh, I guess she hated having skin, so she lets Triangle Man pick her up and rip all the skin off her body. The thing about skin, you can't live too long without it.
Oh, God, no.
Oh God, no. Wait a minute. Ripping off her skin? I remember this. I did watch this movie. I remember seeing this scene. That means I don't have to watch anymore, right? Month of Terror continues tomorrow with... Fine, I'll finish it. So Rose and Cop basically just got Anna killed because she was like, we have to go to the church. And Rose was like, I don't wanna. Then right after Anna dies, they go into the church. It was a prank. Good one, Rose. Inside, they find a bunch of fanatics led by Christabella. She basically leads a cult that's all about burning witches. And I mean all about burning witches. There's no indication they do anything else. There's no hint as to why anyone would ever follow Christabella. It's not like she's charismatic, and there's no evidence she's brought anything positive at all to these people's lives. Anyway, if Rose wants her daughter back, she'll have to see the demon about that. The elevator is back there. Listen, cop lady, you don't have to come with me.
If you don't want to do this, I'll understand. Sharon's adopted.
Don't worry about it. She's just adopted anyway. Barely counts as my daughter. What a weird stance for the movie to take.
But I'm her mother. I knew that from the moment I first laid eyes on her.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
She's lucky to have you.
Nice. That's good.
Mother is God in the eyes of a child.
Can someone check her code again? I think her dialogue tree's being screwy again. Before they head into the elevator, they have to memorize the dungeon map.
Right.
Take them to the lower level.
Remembering these directions is life or death. Unfortunately, there are no pens or pencils in Silent Hill. Yes, she has a phone hanging around her neck, which, yes, it's a phone from the early 2000s, but even those phones often had a basic notes app, or even if not, you could just dial numbers without placing the call and have each number represent a direction. It does feel very video gamey, though, having to memorize directions, up, down, left, right, BA, that sort of thing. Before Rose and Cop head off, Christabella hands back her necklace. I mean, she dropped her knife earlier, so she dropped this too. She's just shedding inventory at this point. And Christabella only now notices what is in the locket of that necklace. A photo of Rose's daughter, who happens to look exactly like Alessa, the evil one. They're evil, get 'em! But Cop isn't going to let that happen. Rose is her best friend. She even knows her name. I can't remember it now, but good enough for me. Cop stays behind to sacrifice herself and give Rose a fighting chance. She gets in the elevator and it falls. What was that? No! Oh, actually, this is not that bad. Anyway, that elevator is heading for the bottom. She's going to be pulverized any oh no, she's fine. Somehow. She follows her memorized directions, runs into some dark nurses who attack with scalpels, but they're drawn to light, so she turns it off and crawls through them, so most of their attacks just hit each other. Until finally...
Congratulations, Rose. You're here. You did it. Your reward is the truth.
This is where they give up on the investigation aspect and just do a cutscene to explain everything. You could actually skip the entire movie and just watch the next 5 minutes and you'd perfectly understand everything. So Alessa was a normal girl, except she was born out of wedlock to a single mother. That led her to be ostracized.
Alessa was alone in the world. You know what can happen to little girls when they're left alone. Even her mother couldn't help.
It isn't spoken aloud, but the implications of what the janitor Colin did are dark, and you understand why he was punished, turned into that undead, barbed wire creature. Now, Christabella's cult convinced Alessa's mother, Dahlia, that the girl had to be burned to cleanse the sin. So Dahlia decides to give her up, but had second thoughts. Yes, she had second thoughts about letting a bunch of fanatics burn her daughter alive. Suddenly, Rose is looking like Mother of the Year by comparison. Dahlia ran to get help, and Alessa was rescued, but barely alive, burned from head to toe. Alessa was pissed, and all that hate grew inside her, so strong it conjured a dark Alessa, who basically transported the town into a living nightmare. It's like that Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life.
Now, Rose. We must talk.
I mean, we were talking. What do you think we've been doing this whole time? Can someone fix these NPCs, please? The game is unplayable. I keep hitting the skip button and nothing happens. It just keeps going. In this scene, Alessa is given lines that no actor should ever be asked to deliver, let alone a child actor. So she's talking about all the jerks in town.
For 30 years, they've denied their own fate. But now is the end of days, and I am the Reaper.
What do you want?
All we ask for is satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
Revenge.
Basically, it comes down to this. The burned girl is Alessa. Dark Alessa is the evil, angry part of her. 9 years ago, Alessa also conjured a good Alessa and dropped her off at an orphanage. That is Sharon, Rose's daughter. That's why they looked so similar. Sharon is Alessa, or at least the light part of her. What happens now? Soon, Christabella is going to find Sharon and burn her alive. Wait. Find her? As in Sharon is around hiding? Which means earlier in the movie, after they crashed, no one took her. She wasn't kidnapped by them or anything. She just got out of the car and ran away, abandoning her mom. To be fair, her mom did drag her here, so maybe she figured getting as far from her would be the best possible move. How are they going to save Sharon? Well, Dark Alessa can't get into their church thanks to their faith, but Rose can smuggle her in. So Dark Alessa hugs herself into Rose. They head to the church in time to save Sharon, sadly not in time to save Cop, who gets burned alive. Rose storms into the church and starts yelling at Christabella, "Tell them the truth."
Do not believe her lies. I come from a world outside this place. I come from a world full of life. There was no apocalypse.
Yeah, there was no apocalypse. Wait, what are we yelling about? Is that a thing? She says it as if that's been an ongoing argument the whole movie. Like this is 10 Cloverfield Lane or something. They all think there's been an apocalypse, but that's a lie. And now that you mention it, I can see why they'd think that. But that was never a thing in this movie, other than one line from Anna earlier.
Burning the witch held back the darkness. It stopped the apocalypse.
And she says they stopped the apocalypse. Filling in the blanks, I get it. When Dark Alessa swallowed the town, they figured it was the end of the world. And they think the few of them who remain did so thanks to their faith, and by burning witches, which seems to be the only tenet of their religion. But this all feels like the climax to some other movie.
You burned in the fire that you started, and nothing can save you, because you're already damned!
Rose, you were doing great with all that apocalypse talk, but I think you're starting to lose the audience. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, you'll never guess what Christabella thinks they should do to Rose. Burn her. That's your answer to everything.
Is there anything you can prescribe, Doctor?
Fire. And lots of it.
Oh, that's your cure for everything.
All right, Rose, time to get back to the speech. Now remember, keep it simple. I know you're trying to impress all these fanatics with all their religious talk and whatnot, but just talk like you normally would. Simple, throw it away.
You darkened the heart of an innocent, and now you cower in the face of Alessa's revenge.
Okay, let's just wrap it up. Christabella stabs Rose, causing her dark Alessa blood to drip out and open a portal to the basement so Alessa can float up along with a bunch of barbed wire, which she uses to shred everyone in the room. Why did Christabella ever agree to let Rose go down the elevator and see Alessa? I know at first she didn't know about her connection to Alessa, but why even chance it? That's like letting an average citizen down to check out your nuclear arsenal, because what are the chances they even know how to use a nuke? I mean, slim, but why chance it? What benefit does it provide you? The barbed wire was cool. I mean, I've never seen a room just fill with barbed wire like that, just shredding everyone inside. Well, apparently I have seen it, but I forgot. And I think that is the key to this movie. I've seen a lot of people who really like it, and even they admit the story and characters are weak, but the tone, the atmosphere, and the visuals are great. So it's a question of what matters more to you. For me, story and character are paramount. It is rare for me personally that visuals can make up for shortcomings in those areas. Like all this stuff about Alessa and Dark Alessa could be an interesting story, but it's not a story that you experience and feel. It's backstory. And not even backstory you slowly piece together. It's just something where you get 2 or 3 clues and then, you know what, never mind. Here's a flashback to explain it all. During the slaughter, Dark Alessa approaches Sharon and kind of smiles at her before Sharon closes her eyes. Finally, time to leave. Dahlia has a question though. Why didn't she kill me? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Why did she not take me with the others?
Because you're her mother.
Okay, Rose, that's good. Leave it at that, and let's go home on a high note.
Mother is God in the eyes of a child.
They head back to the car and drive home. There's a cool effect where you see her drive off the cliff, but the road kind of fades into view. Very cool. Makes the whole journey worthwhile. Anyway, what's with all the fog that Rose doesn't seem to notice for some reason? Well, remember when Dark Alessa looked at Sharon, Good Alessa? That was her reconstituting with her other half. That's right, Dark Alessa is out in the real world now with Rose. So now, even outside the town of Silent Hill, Rose is still in the Upside Down. She's in her house, and so is Chris, but they can't see each other. The end. Month of Terror continues tomorrow with Freddy vs. Jason.